Hey guys, happy Thanksgiving, and more importantly, happy Doctor Who Day. If you didn't know, today is the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who premiering all the way back in 1963. Doctor Who and the Unearthly Child premiered on BBC and here in the States. Nothing is airing tonight, but the 60th anniversary first episode special will be airing on Disney Plus Saturday. So go look for that, and I will hopefully be doing a review after I watch it. So look for that as well. So I wanted to pop on here to give a couple life updates because it's been a hot second since I've been crying over boys and God knows what else. So here goes. Let's see if Astrid will actually let me do this time, because she's been squeaking her toys all along. I got home from Thanksgiving and all she wants to do is play. I don't blame her. She's been cooped up all day. But it's so hard to record when a dog is squeaky, 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 squeaky. I love her. Tomorrow is her 7th birthday. It will actually be 6 years to the day when I got her. It's funny because, so when I got Astrid, I got her on Black Friday. And when I moved to this apartment, I had wanted to get my own dog because I've always had a dog my entire life. Even when I was in utero, we had dogs. Like, my dad used to breed Labradors, and we've just, like, when I was a baby, I grew up, my dad had a litter of puppies, and so one of the puppies was my best friend growing up. You know, we were inseparable. He was my first dog, my best friend. Just, I've always had a dog. So I moved into this place and I needed my own dog. So I had been looking to get a dog. I'd been to the Erie Humane Society. There was this gorgeous all black shepherd named Raven. I'd put in an application to adopt her. And unfortunately, they did decline the adoption because the only reason they declined it was because she had severe separation anxiety, and they wanted somebody that would be home 24/7 to be with her. And as a single working mom, that was not me. And so I was working Black Friday, and I was just chatting with customers, and I was telling them, I love dogs, and I don't know if they were talking about shepherds, and I was talking about shepherds, and I was telling them about Raven, and they had brought up the fact that Erie Humane Society was having a deal that year, back in 2017. They were having a Black Fur Day deal where any animal with black markings was only a $10 adoption fee. So I thought, well, last I checked, Raven was still there. You know, it's been over a month since I put in the adoption request. Maybe they'll let me get her, because here's the thing about shelters. Like, black animals are harder to adopt. For whatever reason, people don't want to adopt black animals. I don't know why. So I got out of work early. Humane Society was still open. I ran over and I inquired about Raven. She had actually been adopted that day to a family where the dad was retired. So somebody was home with her all day. So it was actually a perfect fit for her. And the people there knew that I wanted a shepherd, and they're like, oh, well, have you met Astrid? And I was like, you mean that crazy dog that barked at me through the cage door? No, thank you. And they said, just get her in a room, just meet her. So I did. And that's Gooberhead. There's Goby. There's Goby head. Huh. She was just a completely different animal. She was goofy and silly. She was sitting on my lap. She was giving me kisses. She was playing. She was fetching the tennis ball. She was so sweet. And I was petting her. And the whole time I was thinking, there's no way I'm not going home without you tonight. I can't not take you. Like, you're coming with me. You're mine. So I got her that day. And let me just say, the best part about adopting a dog, or any pet for that matter, on Black Friday is that literally everything is on sale. Everything you need to get that animal that day is on sale. Like, the downside is I did not have my list with me because I'm such a Hermione, even though I've had dogs my entire life, I was like going into this fully prepared. Like, this was my first dog. Like, we've had dogs in my family my whole life, so I knew what I needed, but like, I personally didn't have any of the stuff at my place. So like, dog bowls, leash, collar, food, water bowls, toys, chew toys, food, treats, anything, like flea tick prevention, everything, poop bags, everything, just anything you could think of, need it. Dog bed, cage, everything. I had a list. Didn't have it with me. Wasn't planning to adopt a dog that day. Black Friday, we always go to my Nana's house to make spring release. German cookie, tastes like anise. Not a big fan. Terrible German. I know. Don't come for me. It's just a tradition. We go to my Nana's house. We make spring release. So I was planning after work to go to my Nana's house to make spring release. Wasn't planning to adopt a dog that day. But I got Astrid that year. So, called up my sister and said, "Hey, I got a dog. I need you to come meet me at PetSmart." So she did. She met me at PetSmart. She helped me get all the stuff that I needed. And then I can't remember if I went right home or if I took her to my Nana's house first to meet people or not, but got her home. Thankfully, Beckham was already at my parents' house for Thanksgiving, so didn't have to worry about him meeting Astrid for a bit, which was good. Astrid was able to get acclimated to the house for like a week before I brought Beckham over. And he's been around dogs, so he's fine. He's perfectly fine putting shepherds in their place. He's not afraid of them. Although I will say, Astrid, Teddy is afraid of Beckham. Probably because when Teddy was a puppy, Jenna was trying to introduce Teddy to Tabby, and Tabby just like swiped at him and got him good. Poor baby Teddy. But Teddy has like a healthy respect for the cats now. But Astrid, she's not afraid of Beckham. So anytime Beckham just like goes to attack her, she thinks he's playing. And he gets really annoyed because she doesn't realize that he's not playing, that he's pissed off and he wants her to leave him alone. So she's like, "Oh, we're playing. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah." And he's like, "Get the fuck out of my face," until he eventually just runs off. And she's like, "Oh, we're running. Yeah." She's good with Dottie, though. She just leaves her alone. It's fine. Poor Dottie. She's just a sweet little creature, just off in her own little world. So, life updates. Where are we? I think I last left you with the house that I live in is for sale. My landlord was trying to sell the house. When I had looked on Zillow, it had said it was pending. And when I asked my mom, she said, "Oh, that could mean somebody is like doing inspections. Somebody's doing the research. They're going to the bank, this, that, the other." I asked my landlord. He said, "Oh, it might sell in the next decade or so." I was like, cool. You know, and I know how many issues and whatnot there are with this place. So I thought, okay, well, I have that working in my favor. So maybe somebody won't buy it right away. Maybe it'll take a while. Well, one day I came home from work. I want to say the beginning of November. There's a van in the driveway. I thought, great. Another showing the real estate agent didn't tell me about. Pull into the garage. There's a lady in the garage. I'm just like, "Can I help you?" "Oh, perfect timing. I own all this now." I was like, "Congratulations." Like, what? What? Like, huh? News to what? Like, my landlord didn't tell me No one told me. I just like suddenly surprised came home to this. It's great. Now, I will say my new landlady, she's lovely. She's so nice. She said she'd keep me on as a tenant for now. So she's turning the downstairs into a store. So I guess it depends on what she wants to do at some point, but hopefully for the foreseeable, possibly extended future, I can still live here. She did talk about raising my rent, which is not surprising because my rent is dirt cheap. One of the reasons my rent is dirt cheap is because my landlord never did anything. He never fixed anything. This house is not up to code. All the electricity is ungrounded throughout the entire house. It's 2 prongs everywhere. 2 prongs. I get bats in my house. At least 4 bats every year, which is fun. The one year there was one just flying around in my foyer. And it was like stuck up on the ceiling in the middle of the stairs. Like normally I just take care of them myself and it's not an issue, but it was where I couldn't get to it, where I couldn't reach it. Wasn't about to stand on a ladder in the middle of the stairs to try to bat that out of the sky. And he's like, oh, just leave the front door open. Leave the front door open to my house. Great plan, dude. Like, he wouldn't fix stuff when it was broken, and it was just really frustrating. So hopefully I think she'll be so much better at fixing stuff when it's broken. And the other thing is, like, anytime I would tell him when it was broken, he would get frustrated or, oh, well, it's an old house. Well, you're the landlord and it's your job to fix it. Like, so sorry if it's annoying you that I'm telling you this, but it's kind of your responsibility as the homeowner. But I digress. But I think it'll be much better. So she also likes dogs. My old landlord was scared to death of Astrid, but Astrid knows good people. And seeing as my old landlord and the real estate agent did not tell me about the sale of the house, and even when I texted the landlord later on, I was like, hey, were you ever going to tell me about the house being sold? Or when I reached out to him and the real estate agent to get my new landlady's contact information so I could get her info, so I could get her the next rent check, they never responded to me, ever. I have not heard a sound from him. So, like, I don't know if he's just poof, vanished off the face of the earth, or if he's just like, I'm done, I'm out. I had to reach out to the real estate agency, to the real estate agent's boss, and say, hey, I'm trying to get the contact information of my new landlady so I can send her rent check. Do you have her contact information? And he was able to get it for me, which he's been so awesome, so helpful. And I appreciate him so much because I have had issues with this real estate agent just throughout the whole experience. It was a nightmare. And I've had to go over his head to his boss at the real estate agency. And I don't like being a Karen, but I will if I have to. And, just sometimes. So yeah, that was that adventure. That was one of my life stressors that's finally done and out of the way. Although I won't lie, part of it, I am still stressed out that, like, when we sit down, she's going to talk and say a rent that I possibly can't afford. Or she'll say, oh, I've decided I'm going to turn the whole house into a store. I need you to move out. Those are still stressors that I have. I won't lie. They do still stress me out. Hopefully I'm wrong. I get that negative Nancy from my mother. She always just assumes the worst. But, sometimes you need to have that realistic viewpoint in life so that you're not taken aback when bad things happen. Because sometimes life doesn't always work out how you think it is going to. and you need to have alternative plans, because even though I wanted to stay here and I didn't want to have to move, I was looking at other apartments, and I still have other apartments saved on the Zillow app. So, like, if I need to, I will continue looking. I'm currently not at the moment. I have some saved, but until I know more, I just will consider myself home. So hopefully I don't have to worry about that anymore, which would be nice, because I've been here for 6 years and I like this place a lot. And renting is a nightmare in this economy. Even where I live, in the city where I live, where it's a fairly cheap place to live, even the cheapest rent is still like $600 or $700, and they are not in nice neighborhoods. Like, I'd find these places, I'd say, oh, this place is only like $600. Oh, this place is only $700. My mother would ask the address. We don't want you living there. That's not a nice neighborhood. You don't want to live there. It's like, well, that's what I can afford. And the other thing is, all of these places want you to have an income that is at least 3 times the rent. You're not allowed to have any pets. There's no off-street parking. It's just... I currently live in a large house. I have a yard. I have a garage. I don't have lots of neighbors. It's quiet. It's safe. It's nice, you know? And all of that would get flipped upside down. So renting in this economy is just an absolute nightmare. It's a nightmare. And like, I can barely afford, with what they pay me, I can barely afford rent that's like $700 a month if they want you to have 3 times the income, you know? So I don't know how people are getting apartments that are over 1,000 or whatnot. It's just not feasible. It's not possible. I don't know who's making this money, or if they've got like 3 jobs, or what they're doing to be able to live in these places, because it's just not realistic. Like, people need to start paying us livable wages, or realize that this is not a sustainable economy, because nobody can survive at all. It's just not realistic. When grocery prices are through the roof and the housing market is through the roof, no one can rent, nobody can buy a house, nobody can buy food, nobody can buy gas to get to work. Like, what are we supposed to do? It's insane. Okay, done. The other big thing that's been going on in my life and causing stress has been work. My boss had told us over the summer that she was planning to retire, and so that was going to create a hole in needing to try to hire a replacement for her. And the program that I work for, that position has to be filled by a nursing supervisor. It has to be an RN or an MSN. Is it an MS? It might be I can't remember. Has to at least be an RN or a BSN. I don't know if it has, possibly an MSN. They might like an MSN. But we have been having a hard time hiring nurses. The rate of pay where I work that they offer is, for nurses, or any position really, is not great. You know, we have decent benefits, but the pay rate sucks. And especially for nurses. And I will say, so I originally went to school for nursing. And at some point I decided it wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, so I didn't continue on that road. So I don't know entirely every step that nurses go through in nursing school, but I went through part of it. And so I know how grueling it can be, and I know how difficult it can be. And it's not just schooling, and it's not just bio and chemistry. There's human assessment. There's physiology and anatomy. You have all of the clinicals. And then even after you graduate from college and you get your degree, you can still not be a nurse, because then you have to go on and take the NCLEX, and you have to pass the NCLEX before you can become a registered nurse. It's insane. And not everybody passes the NCLEX. It is a very difficult test to pass. And you can only take the test like so many times. And, you know, nurses, they aren't paid enough. So this was a concern from the beginning, that our nursing supervisor was retiring and we'd need to fill her position, and it had to be a nursing supervisor. And we've been having a hard time hiring nurses where we work. And so there was a transition plan, and part of the transition plan was to have other nursing supervisors take on different bits of her part of her position, because the way everything has been shaking out has been absolutely insane, and everybody's been picking up different pieces. Everybody's been working double time, overtime, picking up roles that aren't even theirs. Everything has been so much. So that was the original transition plan, was for other nursing supervisors to pick up the pieces of her job. And then it got to the point where they just realized it wasn't feasible. They pulled us all into a room and they sat us down and they said, "Hey, your program is ending." And we were all just gobsmacked. The program had been around for a long time, and our program does really great things with the community. And, you know, some of the nurses were crying. And for all the times that I get emotional and I can't control my emotions and I just start bawling uncontrollably when I don't want to, this was one of the times when I could not cry and I wanted to. I was just stone-faced. Just the whole time. I wanted nothing more than to bawl my eyes out like a baby when they were telling us this. Couldn't do it. I think maybe 1-2 tears fell out of my eyes and that was it. Couldn't. I was just so upset. I love my job so much. I love the program that I work for so much. Because even though I'm not in homes helping people, I know the good that our program does for the community. And even just behind the scenes stuff that I'm able to help with is fulfilling. I know that I'm helping in my small little way, and I know how awesome my nurses are, and I know what good they do, and it makes me happy to see that. And so that night I went home and I was looking at my position online to see where in the country I might be able to find my job elsewhere. I found it in other states. None of them were states that I wanted to move to for various reasons. The next day we had our team breakfast, because every year we do like a team Christmas breakfast. We had it early because my boss was retiring. before Christmas. So every year for Christmas, we usually do breakfast and then we go out shopping for Christmas gifts for clients. And I sat down and our boss was like, oh, did you tell the girls? Did you tell Kira? And then one of our nurses is like, no. Well, she said she decided to step up as the nursing supervisor of our program. She single-handedly saved our program from ending. And that morning, I cried happy tears. I was so excited. So hopefully we will be able to hire at least another nurse home visitor for our program so that we can sustain our program. And I'm just glad our program isn't ending. So that's a bit of a stress. Dottie, stop it. Sorry. That is a little bit of a stress relief off my back. I know there was mention like, oh, the program might still end if you can't hire another nurse home visitor, because now we're just down to 2.5 nurses with our supervisor still keeping a partial caseload and whatnot. But hopefully it will be easier now that we have a dedicated supervisor and we can advertise solely for the nursing position, because there are a lot of nurses that just want to do nurse home visiting. And that's why a lot of the nurses came to work with us, was to work with our program. So hopefully we can hire another nurse and keep going and keep the ball rolling and keep our program going and keep doing good for our community. So wish us luck. So I guess those are the things I'm thankful for this year. I'm thankful to have a roof over my head, and I'm thankful to still have my program at work. And I'm thankful to have my woofy dog here, my good baby girl. And I'm excited to have another year with her. Huh? Yes, her birthday, I don't know if I said, her birthday is tomorrow, so I'm going to have a little bit of a celebration with her tomorrow, and then we're going to have the big family celebration at my parents' Saturday. Going to go over for dinner and have dinner, and then peanut butter pie for dessert, which all the doggies get. So probably have a little video of that too. So look out for that along with the Doctor Who review. Okay, that's all. Happy Thanksgiving. Goodbye.